Hey, how you guys doing?
Very well. Go
Hey,
ahead, brother.
good, good. Thanks for having me on. I just wanted to come on and say thank you for saying these things to men around the world who just honestly don't know. You are absolutely right about everything you're saying. I married a woman with two kids, a single mother, when I was 18, and that was probably the worst decision I'd ever made. A lot of people don't understand the dynamic of single mothers and what their mental stability is. Single mothers are in survival mode. So she had every incentive at any time to leave. And me being as young as I was and inexperienced, I didn't know the things that were happening around me.
Mm,
So when I did get divorced around 24 years old, there were all these things that she'd had in the safe that she'd had planned years earlier that I wasn't prepared for. Separation agreement that had me paying $2,500 a month, right? Um, child support and all these other things legally that she used against me because once again, single mothers are incentivized to leave.
right.
So if I could do it again, I'm married again now. My second wife, she had no children. Um, we started fresh. We had humble beginnings. Now I own my house. I got a degree. I work a six-figure job, but her mentality was different, and her mentality towards me helped me to become the man that I am today. So a lot of people need to understand that it's not that you're being mean, and it's not that you have something against uh, these single mothers. It's just that it's not optimal for a man to achieve his highest state of being.
Yes. Now, since Aunt, turn on your camera. I'm gonna break down my mom really quick for you guys. My mom grew up in the ghetto, but her mother and her father was together.
What's up?
They
What's up?
never divorced. They had what 9 or 10 kids, and they never divorced. Always stayed together. She grew up in a very structured home. But like many, she rebelled, got pregnant at 15. The people came over, said they didn't want anything their son to have anything to do with my mom, so she was on her own. No child support ever paid. My father met my mom when she was 17. My mom was a size 2. She wore her real hair. My mom had a beautiful face, didn't even need to wear makeup. Her nails were done. She was very clean. My mom was a cook. She went to school and got an early childhood development degree so that she can teach her child and her future children. My mom was a baker, an incredible baker. My mom knew how to sew. My mom took care of my dad. The first time my dad ever came to the house, my mom cooked all night for my dad. Had everything that he could ever want there to eat. My mom doesn't raise her voice at my dad. She doesn't cuss my dad out. My mom is up before my dad, packs his lunch, makes sure he has everything he needs. His meds are lined up. My mom is incredible at being a wife and a mother. If I go over to my mom's house because I went out and she's closer and I get in at 2:30 in the morning, my mom look on the cameras. Oh, Donald's here. What does she do? She gets out of the bed at 2:30 in the morning and say, "Hey, baby, I know you might be hungry. I got this for you. Go over there. I'll turn on ESPN for you. You sit down. I'm gonna make you a plate. I know you're hungry." Same thing with my brother. My mom never let anybody, me or my brother, raise their voice to my dad in his house. My mom is another level, and because of it, she lives in one of the she lives in one of the best neighborhoods in the country. The worst car that she will ride in is a BMW. She also has a Porsche and a Mercedes that she can ride in. She gets flowers multiple times a week. If she needs anything, we're paying for it. She don't pay for her hair to get done. When Mother's Day comes around, it looks like Christmas. We honor and respect her and will die for her happily. Y'all ain't her. Y'all ain't her. Y'all ain't her. If y'all want to bake good, you order it from DoorDash. Y'all ain't my mom. So stop. Y'all ain't her. So y'all have an early childhood degree so you can teach the kids. Me and my brother didn't go to preschool, Gordino. My mom taught us. When we went to school, we were already a grade ahead because my mom taught us. When our penmanship was bad, my mom sat us down and said, "You're going to copy out of this magazine until you get your penmanship right." My brother is 29, makes over 100K. I am 42, have built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses. Multiple. My mom raised incredible sons, and she's still with my dad. And she was like, "I ain't never leaving your dad. He's a good man." Go ahead, Aunt. Welcome in.
What's going on? Appreciate you letting me up. I agree with everything you said. I wanted to, because I know the woman that was up here, she started speaking about just, I guess, to let everybody know or let people know that it don't take us that long to want to marry a woman. I agree. It don't take no man 10 years to figure out if you want to get on that knee and ask to be his wife. I don't think it take that long. But I also wanted to speak on too, when you were speaking about when you were saying like women have about 10 to 12 years to really prioritize their man and all that. I think that went over a lot of people's heads. And I saw a lot of the comments was like, what does that mean? What? How? Life over 30 has been great. And I don't think they really understand what that means for the women. So I wanted to, if you could kind of explain that a little bit, or I can elaborate on it, because I know exactly what you mean, but I think that went over a lot.
Go ahead, Aunt. You do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, for the ladies, you know what I'm saying? Respectfully, it's the truth, but your prime is between the ages of 20 and 30, if we're gonna be honest. I mean, most men that want to marry a woman, most men find women that at a younger age more attractive. You more fertile. You probably got less sexual history. You know what I'm saying? The way you are, like it's younger women are more of a commodity. And I'm not sitting up here saying that you can't be an older woman plus 30 and not get a man. That's not that. Nobody said that. But we're talking about the probability or not the possibility. So if you find a man that's 35, that's established, that got money, that got to sit together, 9 times out of 10, he's gonna want a woman that's younger than her. And I think it's kind of funny how we understand the fact that women like older men, but we don't understand the fact that men tend to date younger women. So I think that kind of get in a lot of women's feelings. It's typically older women because hit dog solid, and there's nothing against y'all. It's just the honest to God truth. The older you are, the less likelihood that your value is lower than the dating market. That just is what it is, regardless of how you feel. That just is it is, and it's the opposite for a man. An 18-year-old man that worth nothing in the dating market. Women don't want an 18-year-old man in the dating market. Women typically won't, and there's statistics to prove all of this. Women typically find men between the ages of 30 and 40 the most attractive. That is a fact. I didn't make that up. That's not how I feel. That is a fact. You can prove all of this. Women typically find men between the ages of 30 and 40 the most attractive. Why? Because men in that age tend to be more experienced. Men tend to hit their financial stride in their mid to late 30s. It just is what it is. So for the women, if you ask men on the same question, it's the exact opposite. Men tend to find women from the ages of 18 to 25 the most attractive and the most sought out. Nobody is saying that you can't be 34 with a child and get a man. Nobody said that. We're going off the probability, not the possibility. Most of your eggs are going by 30. You are less attractive by 30. That is just what it is. Nobody says you can't be attractive at 30 either, but we're going off the probability, not the possibility. So you can take the advice and he with it or just get mad at it. But the truth is the truth.
Let me say this, and then I'm gonna let Stays on Top come in. Stays on Top, turn on your camera. Sincerely, turn on your camera, please. When men are younger, they can't date the beautiful younger women. They date older women because they haven't proven themselves. They haven't accomplished anything.
Yeah.
18-year-old man, 19-year-old man, they don't have assets. They haven't accomplished anything. They struggling to pay their own bills to eat, to get their life together. They're in college. They're doing the best that they can. I went to college. Those women in college was having grown ass men, 35, come through, scoop them up in the Benzes. We didn't have access to them. Only the football players, the basketball players, older men had access to the best looking women. We had to choose whatever was left over that we could get when we was 18, 19 in college. Go ahead, Ant.
Can I make one point? Just real quick. I got to do this. I'm sorry. I just got to do this. So I saw a couple comments was talking about I'm probably young and don't got no money, and this is not for this live, but I'm not stressing. Trust me, I'm not stressing at all. I'm very successful in life, and I didn't
turn your camera on.
I'll call him. Let me turn my camera. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not stressing. Like I'm doing very successful in life. I don't have no issues with money or getting no type of women. But the truth is the truth, and that's just it is what it is. I didn't come up here to try to flex, but I saw the comments like he probably young, broke, got a do-rag on, don't got no money. I have no issues with getting no women. I have no issues with finances. But the truth is the truth. It just is what it is. You ain't got to get mad at me. But
yeah. Argue with somebody else. Go ahead.
Argue with somebody else. I'm gonna drop down. I appreciate you letting me up.
Hey, follow me, brother. I'm gonna follow you
back.
I'm
gonna follow you back. Oh, real quick too. I'm very big on another platform. I have 4 million followers or 4 million donations on another platform. So if we want to connect and start kind of doing it, like I'm gonna follow you and I can show you the platform that I use, and I have these conversations every single day. So I can connect with you. We can do some business for sure. Have a good one. Appreciate you letting me up.
You too, brother. Go ahead, stays on top.
Hey, Don. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Good to see you. I had to get this new account because they cut off my lives on my other one.
Oh, you do great lives. That's insane. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. You looking good. You lost some more weight.
I did. I've been losing weight, Don. Mr. Don.
Congratulations, girl. You doing good.
Thank you. I stayed in therapy and I worked on my self-esteem, but I just had an operation on my head and I can't.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I like the head wrap. Listen, man, I'm telling you right now. I saw you when you first started. Your whole vibe, your whole swag just comes off like confidence, happiness. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Mr. Don. I'm trying really hard, and it's not easy. Believe it or not, it's actually pretty difficult, like doing all this inner work and stuff. But it's nice. Thank you. So I wanted to come up and talk about because I want to see single moms get married. I want to see them get married, and I think they understand that if we could put down some of these harsh concepts that they picked up along the way. And I'm speaking as a woman who was a single mother and I graduated to wife, right? But Mr. Don, because I'm losing weight and because I'm working on my confidence, because I have to work on myself, I do wake up at 4:00 in the morning. So I gym. That's what this means. This means that I'm up. I'm the first one up and I'm the last one to bed. So to be a wife and mother, understand what you're asking for. This is not for the faint of spirit. This is not for the weak of heart. It truly isn't. But I felt an obligation to create a family unit, someone who's very close to her father. I felt some type of inner guilt that I chose someone who has no interest in being a father to be my daughter. In addition to always wanting to be a wife, I did get a husband, and I also was able to get my daughter a father. But it's not easy. I've never said I don't need a man. I bake 6 batches of cookie once a month, 3 cookies for the 3 cookie jars to the freezer to keep on prep. And like it's a lot of work. This is not easy, but I think we owe it to our children to create a stable home.
We do. We have a responsibility. And listen, guys, for you guys don't know Stays on Top, she was on my other account. She started a weight loss journey, killing it. She went from a single mom because she's got wife skills to getting a husband and doing very well. Aren't you a stay-at-home mom?
I'm a work-from-home mom, so I work at home.
She's a work-from-home mom. So at the end of the day, I'm not saying that all single moms, you can't make something happen with all single moms, but it's got to be women with humble attitudes with positivity, kindness, care, love, good spirit, smiles, that wants to actually put something together and work on it. We cannot, this energy right here, that's wifey energy. That's what a man wants to come home. A man be breaking his neck to get home to a woman like this. I can't wait to get home to a woman like this. That's the difference. And that's the type of, she is the type of mother that my mom has always been. She's the first one up, the last one to bed, and we have to force her to sit down and relax and rest. No, mom, I come over, every Sunday, I cook. I'll come over, cook. I'll make sure dad is okay. I'm going to help you. You need to relax. Go to the mall. Here's the credit card. Go to the mall, shop, do your thing. Because real moms and real wives, this is how they act. Let me bring in sincerely. Thank you, Stays on Top. Go ahead, sincerely. Hit your camera again.
Hi, guys. How's
Hello.
everybody doing? I kind of jumped on, and the topics were kind of here and there. And so there was a couple of things that I wanted to touch on. The first one was I felt as if everybody was being put in the same category. Like when you say women are being generalized. You can't say every woman when you're speaking about women because you have not encountered every single woman. So I don't think that's fair. And as far as,
let me respond to that. When I'm talking
Okay.
about when I'm talking to billions, I can be general. When I'm talking about billions or hundreds of millions of women, I can be general. There is always an exception, but that just proves the rule. There's always an
Okay.
exception. It just proves the rule. So if I'm talking about 3 people, yes. But if I'm talking about hundreds of millions of women, yes, I can be general. Because here's the thing. I'm not being general when I say 80% of the time women initiate divorce. That's an actual number, actual fact. I'm not being general when I say in the Black community, 8 out of 10 babies that are born are out of wedlock. That's not being general.
Okay, that's statistics,
That is
right?
an
So that's
actual fact.
right.
And
Facts.
I'm not being general when I say if a woman has a degree over a bachelor's or a doctorate degree, she initiates divorce 90% of the time. That's a real
Okay.
number.
I can understand those statistics. Those are numbers you can research, you can find that information and find those things to be true. And as far as speaking about single mothers, I'm a single mother. I'm 45. I have 2 children. Well, they're adults now. I have a teacher. I have a firefighter. They're doing very well for themselves. I have been married. And I do think, I hate to hear a woman say that they do not want
I don't
a
consider you a single
husband.
mom then. If you had your children in wedlock and you got divorced, I don't consider you a single mom. I consider you a divorcee.
Well, no, I mean, I've been married twice, so I have my children are from different fathers.
Oh,
Okay, and
you
but
had
still, but
marriages.
what I'm saying, well, I did have marriages. And I hate to hear women say that they do not need a man, they don't want a man. I think that's, I don't like to hear that. But here's the thing. So my goal is marriage. I do want a marriage. But however, in my situations that I was a part of, here's what happens. I've learned, just like the lady that was on there who lost the weight, she said that she did a lot of work on herself. So that's where I am, reflection, discovery, getting to know myself and doing, things to improve who I am. Um, but sometimes when you meet people, you can tend to tell them, you give them the blueprint. You lay out the blueprint, you tell them what didn't work in previous marriages, previous relationships. And sometimes if they want you bad enough, they're going to send a representative to be that
Mhm.
person that you have told them this is what you want. So, and that can go on for, I mean, some people can pretend for a while, but then someone, I mean, they're going to change and be the person that they really are.
Mhm.
So, um, so it's not fair. I mean, it's like you're saying the women who everybody should be married. Well, some people have tried to be married, and it's not about the women are divorcing the men or the men are divorcing the women. It's just about no one's going to be in a relationship where they're unhappy, where they're disrespected, where they're, you know what I'm saying? So every situation is different. And when you don't know every situation, you can't speak on
Well,
everyone's situation.
let me speak to that. Number one, most women claim themselves in this country to be Christian, and if you are a Christian, there's only there's, first of all, if you're a Christian, when you get married, you should be a virgin. Period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. If you say that you're a Christian and you're a woman, when you get married, the white dress signifies that you're a pure virgin. That's number one. Number two, you only have two options to get a divorce, and your happiness is not one of them. You can divorce a man if he's unfaithful, and you can divorce a man if he abandons your family. That
So
is,
let me not to interrupt you,
you are
but
interrupting
I
though. Hold
no, but
on,
what I have to
hold
do
on, hold
is
on, hold on, hold
okay.
on. Sincerely, I gotta no, because I grew up in a Pentecostal church, and I am so sick and tired of you fake Christians cherry picking the Bible to do whatever it is that you want to do.
And okay,
Somebody,
and so
hold on, I'm not finished. Somebody said this ain't 1950. The Bible
I'm gonna
says that,
respect
hold
you
on,
on your because this is
hold
your
on, I'm not
platform.
done. I'm going to let you go.
That's fine.
The
You can
word of,
let me go.
no,
You can let me go. But I mean,
I'm
I'm
saying
just
I'm going to
saying.
let you talk. Wait,
But what I'm
wait.
telling you is the way my thought process works.
If you're going to talk over me on my platform, this is how I deal with women in my dating life. If I'm talking and you're not listening, I remove myself or remove you out of my life. This is how I deal with dating, gentlemen. If I'm talking to my lady and she's over talking me and she's not listening to me while I'm talking and I'm saying, I'm going to give you a chance to talk, I want to make this point, I just remove them out of my life. I don't do women that interrupt me and don't let me talk. Now, I've been cordial, I've been nice, but what you're not going to do on my platform is come over here and overtalk me when I'm trying to make a point. Someone in the comments said that this ain't 1950s. The word of God says Jesus, God, is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Time doesn't change God if you say you are a Christian. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So at the end of the day, you only have two reasons to get a divorce. And one of them is, I'm not happy. One of them is not, I'm not happy. If you're not happy, go to therapy. But God didn't say because you wasn't happy, you can get a divorce. He gave you two options. One, adultery. Two, abandonment. Now, if you divorced your husband because you weren't happy and you married another man, according to the Bible, not me, you are living in sin. You are an adulterer. That is adultery. If your husband didn't cheat on you or abandon you, and you said, oh, well, I've grown past him. I got a master's degree now. So he's not stepping up. You going to hell according to the Bible, not according to Donald. The Bible says you are an adulterer. That's the Bible. Y'all go to church, y'all cherry pick the verses in the scriptures that you want. But this is laid down. If you had a husband and you said the finances wasn't good enough for you, so you're going to leave, and then you marry another man, you are not in a legitimate marriage according to the Bible, not according to me. If you're not happy, go to therapy. If you divorce your husband because you're not happy and you marry again, you are going to hell because you are committing adultery according to the word that you say you believe in. Glammy, turn on your camera.
Okay, let's see. Hello. I don't really like to have my camera on because I'm not looking the way I want to look right now. But
Well, we have rules,
what?
so I have to apply the
Oh,
rules
okay,
equally.
sir. I respect your platform. Whatever. Ooh, wait a minute. Why is it not coming? Oh, I see. I have to save it. I'm sorry. Sometimes my technology skills aren't what they need to be, sir. Let me get that right. Okay, here
There
we
you
go.
go. What are you
All
talking
right.
about? You look
Now,
lovely, and I like your natural hair. You look great. And look at that pretty
thank
smile.
you.
Talking about.
Thank you, sir. I've been married for a very long time. I've been married for over 40 years. And I have to say this, that I was very, very heartened when I heard Michelle Obama talk about her relationship with our president because she was real about it. She talked about times when she was unhappy. And what I have gleaned from all of that and gleaned from my own personal experience is that even when talking to single women, they're sometimes not happy when they're by themselves. So how can we always expect to be happy, even if we're by ourselves or with somebody else? So either way, then you're going to have to face some form of discontent. But it's how you handle the discontent that becomes that shows what kind of person you are and where you are in your life and where you are in your journey. And I will not sit on this platform and tell any of you that my marriage was perfect and that it was a match made in heaven at all times, because sometimes I felt like the match was made a little south of the border. But what happened was I made some adjustments in me. My husband made some adjustments. I will never talk poorly about him at all, particularly on social media. I will tell the mistakes I've made, but I will never tell the mistakes that he made, because he's a good man and he has served our family well. He's a good father. He's a great provider. He's not a perfect man, but he is perfect for me. And I think that in order for all of us to get where we want to be socially, spiritually, and emotionally, we sometimes have to realize that we have to humble ourselves, that we have to give the other person the ultimate commitment, and we have to be willing to forgive. And that's very difficult for some people. If you're not willing to do those things, then I would highly recommend that you're not ready for the institution of marriage.
But Glammy, they want God to forgive them, don't they?
Yes, sir.
And
I would say that's the case.
And to be Christian is to be Christ-like. So how can you go to God for forgiveness and then you won't be Christ-like and forgive? And I'm saying this overall because I see this. For instance, I did a video and it was a lady who was 55 years old, and she had a husband. She was married to him for 12 years. He was in the military. He was overseas, and he cheated on her. Now, and she divorced him. Now, legally, according to her faith, she can. She divorced him, right?
Right.
She's now celibate at 55, but she desperately wants a man. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be extraordinarily hard. And I told her, I was like, listen, sometimes in life, you got to know when your head is in the lion's mouth. If you are 55 years old, put 12 years into a marriage, the man cheated, and you're built like Lawrence Taylor, you might want to go to therapy and work that out. Because now she's like, well, I'm celibate, but I want a man to do all of these things for me. And she can't get what it is that she wants because she's 55 years old and built like Lawrence Taylor. And sometimes people, you gotta look. Somebody said, "Who's Lawrence Taylor?" We got a young one in the house.
Somebody doesn't know football.
Yeah, we got a young one in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Somebody doesn't know football.
Hey, sometimes in life, and men have to do this too. We got to look at our ego and check our ego and say, and she said, otherwise, this man was a great provider, a good husband. He protected her, helped their children, and never let her down in any other way. And so I'm like, so he cheated across country because he was in the military. And you are the size of Lawrence Taylor, ma'am, 55 years old and celibate or abstinent, but you want a man that's as good or greater than your husband? That's going to be a serious challenge. And I don't think she looked at it from an angle of, I might not ever get another husband. I don't think she ever even, that never even crossed her mind because she wasn't willing to look at it and say, what is my value out on the dating market at 55 as an inside linebacker? Who's also abstinent. Who's also abstinent. Go ahead, Glammy.
I did want to say to you that I understand what you're saying about the Bible, but I'm just going to say for the record that I would never advise anybody to stay with someone who is physically abusive. I just wouldn't. I say get out, get your kids and get out. And that may be a failing on my part. I don't know, but I would never recommend that. That would be for me grounds.
Listen, my sister, Glammy, my sister was unalived by her boyfriend. I take DV very seriously. I don't condone it. I don't even believe in raising my voice at a woman. I don't believe in raising my voice at her. But that still don't mean you can get a divorce. You can remove yourself from the situation. But according to the Bible, you can remove you and your kids, but you can't get a divorce still. That's according to the Bible.
I don't know.
You can remove yourself.
Yeah, I hear you.
You can remove your kids, but according to the Bible, you can't get a divorce still. And that's not, listen, this is not my words. So let's be clear. This is not my words. This is the Bible that you guys say you believe in. This is not my words. This is what you guys say you believe in. That Bible said you can remove yourself out of danger and your children. However, you file paperwork for divorce, that's between you and God. Go ahead, Beach Bum. Thank you, Glammy. You're awesome. And you look wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Beach Bum.
Thank you.
Y'all really answered my question just then. I grew up in an all-female house. Like my mom, my grandma, we all lived in the same house. But I heard stories about how my grandfather used to beat my grandmother. You know what I mean? And I used to, I saw the after effects of it when I used to like try to wake her up from asleep, like she'd have to go to work or something like that, and I have to wake her up, or I might want to borrow some money or something like that, and I wake her up and she would just holler, ah, 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 ah. Like my My grandfather beat my grandmother so bad, bro, and I just was wondering what your perspective was on that. If
My dad has never laid a hand on my mom, nor has my mom ever laid a hand on my grandmother. But my mom ain't gonna like me telling this, but I gotta tell it. My grandmother on my mom's side beat the living crap out of my granddad.
mm,
They literally talk about a story. My uncle came last night, and my aunt, one of them, came over, and we had a family get together. And they talked about a story where my grandmother, my mom's mom, had my grandfather putting up curtains, and he was standing on a ladder, adjusting the curtains to the way she wanted them. He didn't do something right. She grabbed a baseball bat and hit him in the back with it multiple times. She hit him over the head with pans, threw hot grease on him, and that man stayed with that woman to the day that she died.
okay,
So listen, when we're talking about DV, this is not a one-way street. And ladies love to make it a one-way street.
mm,
My grandmother was a violent woman. And when I say violent, I mean it. If my granddad didn't do something, something was coming flying at him. My grandfather never left that woman. To the day she died, he stayed with her. Because
okay,
he said, we have these kids together, and I am not leaving this woman. I'm taking care of her and my kids. And I am sick and tired. Women, you guys talk crazy to men. You tell him he's nothing. You abuse him financially by ordering stuff on Amazon that you definitely don't need and hiding the bills. You abuse him emotionally. You abuse him in the bedroom by using sex as a reward. So listen, all I hear is women getting up here and talking about what some other man has done to them. I tried to get a lady last night to take accountability on this show. She refused to do it. Absolutely refused. She had 4 or 5 kids by 4 or 5 different men. I listened to her intently, go through her whole story. And then I said, so if you could do 3 things differently in life, what would they be?
mm,
If you could reverse the hands of time, make different decisions, what would they be? She couldn't answer. You know why? Because she wants to believe that she didn't do anything wrong. But until we take accountability for what we did wrong, we can't move on.
Not much. Mm-hmm.
Who on the phone?
I will.
Thank you, Beach Bum. Sandra, go ahead.
Hi, Don. How are you?
I'm very well. Welcome in.
Well, I'm sad that you lost your other page. I was looking for you. I was concerned.
Now, don't never be concerned about me. You can never hold me down.
No, I was just saying I couldn't find you so I could listen to your live.
Right.
Yeah. I just wanted to get up and say that I wish people would listen to understand and not listen to respond. Because if they did, they would understand the things that you're saying and coming from a place of information and of learning. Because I've been married twice. I got married at 18 and divorced at 19 because I wasn't ready. And it was infidelity in the marriage. But then I got married again, and I was married for 20 years until he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
This modern generation, and I'm 52. So it is hard for me to date at this age, even though my kids are grown and gone. I guess I wanted to know what your opinion was about that, because I hear you saying things about women from the age of 30 to 40. But what about the women who are over 50 who still hold those values of being a good wife and being submissive both ways, because I heard you say something also about the Bible and how the woman should be a virgin.
But
But
you've
they
already
both
been but you've already been married. So
right. But I'm saying I wanted to just touch on that because I was in the comments and I was saying I thought both people were supposed to be virgins, not just the woman. Because if we're teaching the boys one thing and the girls something else,
we're
it's
not.
always going to be a
We're
disconnect.
not. We're not.
Okay.
If you're a Christian, when you get married, you're supposed to be a virgin.
Exactly.
That's Christianity. That's not me.
Both.
Yeah, both. Now,
right. Okay. I just wanted to get clarity. I didn't know that's what you were saying.
Now, here's what I'm saying about you as a woman at 52. You got wifey skills. So
right.
if I were you, I would be thinking about, now, this is not my words. I brought a relationship coach on, and
okay.
she said, and this woman is good at what she does. She has offices in Chicago, New York, and Orange County, and she matches up people. And this is what she said. She deals with women. Her clientele is women over 40 who have been married before, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I said. This is what she said. Women over 40 should be looking for men that are 10 to 15 years older than them to marry. This is what she said. This is her business. She does it for a living. She got businesses in New York, in Chicago, and in Orange County, in my community. And it's expensive to have anything here. So she's clearly making a lot of money. She said women that are over 40 should be looking for men who are 10 to 15 years their senior. And that's where they're going to have their success. And she said because men who are 40s, in their 40s and 50s, might have not even had kids yet. And they can marry women much younger to have children. Women in their 40s don't really want to have any more children. She said, you have two options. One, if you want to get married, you can go 10 to 15 years your senior. If you want to have fun and casually date, you can go 20 years younger.
Okay,
so
that's
it depends on what it is that you want. Because there's a lot of younger men that will date an older woman.
For fun?
For fun. Clapping your cheeks. 10 toes up in the air.
Oh, God, Don.
And what? I mean, you got kids. You got them some kind of way.
Right, but I don't want to date someone that's my child's age. And that's the point I was going to make. The dating pool, that's all that come after me is 30, 40, like year old men, or even 28-year-old young people.
Hey, well, I'm telling you, you're going to be happy.
No.
Hey, you're going to be happy. You'll be like, come on, sugar, don't push my legs back so far.
That's not funny.
Wait a minute, sugar, you can't push. You're going to be happy.
So it's either have fun or have a relationship. It's
either have fun or get married. Older men are going to want to get married. They're from the old school. They're going to want to get married. She said it very clearly. She was like, the success that women over 40 are going to have if they want marriage, they need to go 10 to 15 years older. But if they want fun, casual dating, they could go as much as 20 years below.
That's a lot. Okay.
Because I know my neighbor right around the corner, right? He's 54. And I see him with women all the time. They're 23, 24, 25. He says, I won't ever date a woman over 30 again. He's 54. And he's in excellent shape. So when he pulls down, He pulls the Bentley out of the garage and drops the top. The women that's in his car is always 23, 24, 25.
And that's acceptable.
That's in California, that's normal.
Wow.
We all date younger women. I don't date, listen, if I'm dating casually, I don't date anybody over 27. If you're over 27, you're too old for me if I'm dating casually. If I'm looking for a wife, that might be different. But if you're over 27, I'm not dating you. I only date women from 21 to 27 casually. I don't date women my age. I don't. When you see me pull out the Porsche and you looking who getting out of my car, she's probably about 25, 26.
Wow.
If I'm dating casually. I'm 42. And before you guys say, oh, well, they're paying for that. You goddamn right we are. But let me tell you what's the most expensive woman you can pay for in this life. A wife. There is nothing more expensive in this life than a wife. $16,000 for blondes. $12,000 at my wedding for certain chairs. I ain't never spent more money than I spent when I was married. Them girls need a couple $100 here and there to get their nails done. A few $100 here and there.
So
I wanted a decent house. My ex-wife wanted a house in wine country with 6 bedrooms. I ain't never spent more money than I spent when I was married. Immediately when I got divorced, all my expenses went through the basement. Immediately when I got divorced. And one more thing, and I'm going to come. So the way that proper gentlemen do it, when we do give women money, we write it off our taxes. We give them 1099s. So we actually use that as a tax write-off for our taxes. So if I give a woman a few $100s here and there, at the end of the year, my accountant sends her a 1099. And I write that off as entertainment expenses off of my taxes. If I go out with her and I spend money, it's under the business as entertainment expenses. So I'll get a tax write-off for it. This is how real men deal with women. And ladies, let me be very clear with you. Men only make the money that we make for 2 reasons. 2 reasons. Number 1, we want the respect of our peers. Number 2, we want beautiful women. That's the only reason why we make the money in the first place. And I wasn't getting married if I didn't have paper, because my wife was a model. My ex-wife was a model. That's it. Rizzas, welcome in. Unmute yourself and go.
Hey, how are you guys?
Very well. Thank you, Sandra. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to hop in because I'm a little bit younger. I'm 28. I am married. Me and my husband together, all together, we have 9 children. 6 of those children are mine, me and his together. We call ourselves like a blended family. But he's 3 years older than me. And I think that what you're saying, it upsets so many women, especially women in my generation. We're in a generation of pushing that woman independence, pushing that, narrative that we don't need a man. And I know somebody earlier said it, but I need my man. And I say that. I might not need George or the next one, but I need my man. So I don't know about that, And I think that's really harsh when people say that. And when me and my husband, he decided to marry me on our 3rd date. He gave me a ring. Simple. It wasn't like a process I went through. It wasn't a process he went through. And at the time, we both was in our 20s. He just knew that I was wifey material, as you were saying. I was raised by my grandparents, so I feel like I had a different knowledge than I do my other friends and people around me do, like people in my generation. And what you are saying, a lot of men, even my age, are saying too. They just don't know how to put it. They don't know how to put it into terms. And so it takes a whole. Yes, I feel like sometimes some things are sexist, but that's how it's supposed to be. My man he controls this household. Now there's things that I'm better than he is, and there's things that he's better at than I am. But that doesn't take no less from somebody else. So if like when I had our children, when I'm pregnant, I don't do anything. I don't cook, I don't clean. He takes care of me and he goes to work and he takes care of the household. When I'm not pregnant, I do what I'm supposed to do. I cook, I clean, we homeschool our children. I go to school from home. You know, we make sure of that. And when I told my husband,
hold on a second, love. Hold on a
yeah.
second. Oh, never mind. Coco, you fast, girl. Coco, a bad. Coco, she a bad one. Best moderator in the world. Go ahead, Rizzles. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I was saying like when I had talked to my husband, I said, hey, I'm ready to go back to work. Because when we first started dating, I was working 2 jobs. And he was like, okay, if you want to get back to work, I think that for me it's the best for you to do a work from home job. He said, because as a man, I just can't see myself, my wife out there doing something out there in the field when I'm supposed to be out there in the field. And he wasn't standing like, oh, I'm going to tell you what to do. He was a suggestion. And I think that's what a lot of people don't hear when it comes to marriage. We suggest things to each other. And if you marry somebody that is not like that, then they told you that in the first however many times you were with them, however long. Like, my husband doesn't tell me what to do, but because this is what he expects me to do, I do it because I love him. I don't do it because he has an authority over me or because he told me to. I do it because I want to make him happy. He does things to make me happy. And I think that a lot of that goes over a lot of people's head and with controlism. And when I heard you talk about like when people are saying like when you divorce, me and my husband both said, we're not getting divorced. If something happens to him, God forbid, or me, God forbid, then I told him I'm not remarrying only because it's just like I found my soulmate. Like if you truly find your soulmate, you know you can't find another person like that. Like he my road dog. If he tell me how to jump, I say how high. If I tell him let's go jump over this bridge, he gonna jump with me. Like you have to realize that these things that are in prospect of each other is not the fact that this person is to do things to tear you down, but to build you up. And it's all about trust. And I think that's what a lot of people don't have, especially when you come from a negative background, especially towards men. And I'm gonna just be honest, black men in general, you know, because I'm not gonna lie, it's a push of a narrative that basically they're too demanding or they're too certain things. Like, no, you had that mindset because of the parents that raised you in a generation of that. I don't have that because, you know, like I was raised by my grandparents and stuff. So I respect my husband. He respects me. Anything I know that he does for me and vice versa. And when you guys were talking about even just, you know, if something happened, we're not perfect at all. And I just want to say when you marry somebody, you marry their flaws too. You don't just marry the good side, the, you know, pretty side. You marry their flaws. So you're agreeing to be with them through thick or thin. That means their flaws too. Whatever those flaws are, you agreed to it. So I feel like when you just automatically want to say divorce when something bad or negative happens, that lets you know you wasn't a fighter to begin with. That's what I would fight for mine. I don't know about y'all.
Rissa, that's why I like the marriage vows. For richer or for poor, in sickness and health.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Good times, bad times, to death do us part. For richer or for poorer, that means you don't divorce your husband because his finances get low.
Yeah.
For richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health. That's what it means. Thank you, Rizza. Before I get to you back sincerely, let me say a couple things. Guys, I'm trying to get to 33 subs. So if you like the program, you want to support me, I need you to do that. If you have not followed me on YouTube, I need you to do that too. The link is in the bio. So we got 22 out of 33. We're trying to get to 33 subs. So it's $5.99. It does not renew. So if you don't want to support me next month, you don't have to. But I need, before we get off here, I'm trying to hit 33 subs. So if you like what I'm doing, support the show. Support the show. I need people to support. All right, sincerely. Go ahead.
Okay, so I came back on because I think we had a misunderstanding. We were talking, like I said, this conversation since I've been on this live has been here and there a little bit, of and everything, everywhere in between. So, and you were talking, I said something and you were responding. And the way that my mind is set up, the way that I'm wired is if you say something, and it's going on and the topics are continually changing, if I have a thought, then at that moment I'm going to respond to what you said in that moment, because when you move on to something else and when it's time for me to speak, I'm going to be looking like duh,
Sincerely,
so
sincerely, people are
yeah,
saying it. People saying it in the comments. They just say my bad. I'm sorry, and move on.
yeah, exactly. That's
But you
and
ain't
that's
said,
fine.
you haven't
But
said
that's what I just said. We had a misunderstanding.
that. You didn't
So
apologize. That's not taking you saying we had a misunderstanding.
okay. Well, whatever. If I did anything that was offensive to you, I apologize. But on the other end, your
Why is it so
listen. Let
hard
me
for you
explain.
guys to just say I'm sorry? Why is
But
that so
listen,
hard?
it's not hard at
Jesus.
all. It's not hard at
Just say,
all. But
hey, I'm sorry I overtalked you. I apologize. I brought you
oh,
back up.
I got what you're saying. But at the same time, you're the way that you were coming at me. Like, I don't know if
Oh
you're
my
just
Lord Jesus.
passionate. I don't know if you're just passionate, but you can come off as rude.
This is how I deal with women in my dating life, gentlemen. See, this is why a lot of times you can't give women second chances. You can't give women second chances like this. All she had to say was, Don P, my bad. I'm sorry. I overtalked you. I even brought her back on, but there's no accountability. Gentlemen, this is how I deal with all women in my dating life. If you cannot just say, hey, my bad, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. If it's going to be but, or the way that you came, because if I make a mistake, hey, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, it's on me, please forgive me. Do not allow those type of women to be in your sphere. Do not. I don't date them. I don't deal with them. If a woman can't just simply say, hey, baby, my bad, I'm sorry, I looked at it the wrong way, I apologize, we can move on. It don't take much. She done went around the world trying for it not to be her fault, making all of these excuses. Gentlemen, I just showed you how to deal with women in your dating life. Just if she can't take accountability, just remove her from your life. She don't get the pleasure of your presence. Go ahead, Jenny. How you doing? Welcome in.
Hey, how you doing? I I was waiting for that. I'm sorry. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was been sitting up here in the comments waiting for her to come back up because that was funny. Then a mug. Like you still can't take accountability. Just say I wasn't listening. I overtalked you, and I never let you get your point across because you never got your point across.
I was telling her I'm gonna let her talk, and I was patient. But so she come back and say I'm passionate and I'm this and that. Go ahead,
Like
Jenny. Go ahead.
I was so confused. But I was trying to go back into like the church situation because I kind of grew up as a Christian, but kind of went away from the situation. I won't say my grandparents raised me because it was a village.
Right.
Okay, but then I have two sides of the family, right? You have your good side, who take their morals and hold them at a high standard. Then you have the ones that's like, hey, we just doing what we want to do. So I'm gonna say that I have a father who has a number of kids with a number of different women. Um, Only time he got married one time, but his
Mm-hmm.
thing is he will never get married again. And his thing is, and he always tell you, because he has all girls. So I don't know if that's a curse thing or what, but he has all girls, and he's always told us, like, never just settle for just anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when we're talking about the marriage and even church, always ask yourself, you know, what am I getting myself into?
Mm-hmm.
How am I getting myself into this? What is the real accountability of me getting myself into this? Like, what am I going to take out of this? What can I give somebody
Mm-hmm.
if I take from this? And I feel like that comes into relationships as well as everyday life.